discuss about some application of Lagrange theorem. First application is a group of prime order is always cyclic. Let's see the proof. Let's consider order of G equal to P, where P is a prime number. And let's consider A be a non-identity element of the group. That means A not equal to E. Then the cyclic subgroup generated by A must be subgroup of G. Then by Lagrange theorem, order of cyclic subgroup generated by A must divide order of G. And since P is a prime number, then order of cyclic subgroup generated by A has two choices. Either 1 or P. And since A not equal to E, so there exists only one choice. Order of cyclic subgroup generated by A is only P. That means G is generated by the cyclic subgroup A. So the group is cyclic. Okay? Well, other application of Lagrange theorem is, let G be a group of order PQ where P and Q are distinct prime. Then every proper subgroup of G will be cyclic. Let's consider G equal to order of G equal to 15. Then what will be the proper subgroup? The subgroup of order 3, 5 and 1 will be the proper subgroup. Let's see the proof. By Lagrange's theorem, the only possible order for the proper subgroup are 1, P or Q. And by previous theorem, we know the group of prime order is cyclic. So, the subgroup of order P and Q will be cyclic. Then the subgroup of order 1, simply the cyclic subgroup generated by E. So the all proper subgroup will be cyclic of the group of order PQ. Okay? Well, now I will discuss one example in details because many of the properties which we have so far learned I will use in this problem. If you can understand it fully, then you will understand that you have understood it fully, which we have so far learned. Okay? Well, and the properties is so that every group of order strictly less than equal to 5 is an abelian group. Case 1, let's consider G equal order of G equal to 1. That means G contains only identity element and which is always abelian, because in order to be not abelian, there must be two elements which does not commute to each other. But here only one element, so it always will be commute. Case 2, let's consider order of G equal to 2. That means G contains only E and A, where A and E are both different. Then AE always commute EA, because every element of a group commute always with identity element. Now consider order of G equal to 3. That means G contains 3 elements E, A, B, where these 3 elements are mutually disjoint. And AE equal to EA and B equal to EB always true. Now my question, do AB commutes? Since G is a group, AB must be element of this group. So there exists 3 possibilities. Either AB equal to B, or AB equal to A, or AB equal to E. Okay? Now consider the relation AB equal to A. Multiply both sides by its inverse A inverse. Now I will get, and by associative property I will get B equal to identity. But I have chosen E, A, B are distinct element. So our consideration is wrong. We cannot choose AB equal to A. Similarly, we cannot choose AB equal to B, because similarly I will get A equal to E, which cannot possible. That means there exists only one possibility, is AB equal to identity. From this line, by cancellation law, I will get B equal to A inverse. Okay? If B equal to A inverse, then BA must be identity. That means AB, from this relation, AB equal to BA. Actually, any element and its inverse always commit each other. So any group of order 3 must be abelian. Okay? Well, now let's consider order of G equal to 4. That means G contains 4 elements E, A, B, C. Suppose G is not abelian. That means AB not equal to BA for all AB in G. And A always will be different from B, because if A equal to B, then AB equal to BA, which will be A square. But I have considered G is not abelian group. So A and B are both different. That means E, A, B must be 3 distinct elements of the group. Okay? Now, what is possibility of AB? As before, we can say AB equal to either AB equal to E, either AB equal to A, or AB equal to B. As before, if AB equal to E, then A and B are inverse of each other. Then this will be commute. So this cannot possible. Then second possibility, AB equal to A. By previously, I will get B equal to E, which is also not possible. Similarly, AB equal to B not possible, because I will get here A equal to E, which is not possible. That implies AB must be the 4th element of the group. That means C equal to AB. That means G contains the element E, A, B and AB. Okay? Well, now my question, what is BA? BA also member of the group, but BA cannot be E, BA cannot be A, BA cannot be B. By previously. That means BA must be equal to AB. So that means our assumption is wrong. G is a abelian group. Okay? Well, now consider the order of G equal to 5. And I will do this process is another way, because if I apply this method, then the calculation will be so broad. And the method is, let's consider order of G equal to 5 and let X be any member of this group with condition X not equal to identity. Then the cyclic subgroup generated by X equal to X to the power K, such that K be the member of integer, which is subgroup of this group. And by Lagrange theorem, we all of us know order of the subgroup, this subgroup, must divide the order of the group. That means the only possibility order of this subgroup is 1 or 5. I have considered x not equal to e. That means 1 cannot possible. So only possibility order of the cyclic subgroup generated by x is 5. That means x is the generator of this group G. That means G must be cyclic. And we all of us know any cyclic group must be abelian. So any group of order 5 must be abelian. Okay? That means the smallest non-abelian group is S3. We all of us know what is the group S3. I have made already many videos about this permutation group. S3 is this permutation I have discussed in my previous video elaborately. If you don't see, at first I recommended you, please see those videos. The cycle notation of the S3 is 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2. Okay? What is cycle notation? I have discussed in my previous video. Now, let's consider x equal to the cycle 1, 2 and the y equal to the cycle 1, 3. And x and y both be member of S3. If you notice x square, then what will be x square? X square equal to the cycle 1, 2 times cycle 1, 2, which is equal to identity. Okay? And what will be x times 1? X times y will be 1, 2 times 1, 3, which is equal to 1 cycle 1, 2, 3. If you check, you can easily find how it will be 1, 2, 3. Actually, I have discussed these topics in my previous video. So I tell now only briefly. Okay? And y times x equal to, if you look, the cycle 1, 3 times cycle 1, 2, then the result will be the cycle 1, 3, 2. And xy equal to cycle 1, 3, 2 times 1, 3, which is equal to cycle 2, 3. Notice this thing. Here, xy generates the whole group S3. That means S3 is generated by x and y. That means xy both generated of this group S3. Now my question. This group is smallest non-abelian group. Then we all of us know any non-abelian group cannot be cyclic. But this group is generated by xy. Then why this group is not cyclic? Remember the definition of the cyclic group. If any group there exists an element, if this element generates the whole group, then the group will be cyclic. That means if a group generates by a single element, then the group will be cyclic. Here the group S3 generates by two elements x and y. So this group is not cyclic. Are you getting? Now there is an interesting thing. If we look y square, y is cycle 1 3. That means this is the cycle 1 3 times 1 3. If you check this, then you will get this is nothing, this is identity. If you check xy whole cube, then this is 1 2 3 times 1 2 3 times 1 2 3. And this value will be identity. So here I have got an result. Since y square equal to identity, xy whole cube equal to identity, and x square equal to identity, so I have got an result x square equal to y square equal to xy whole cube equal to identity. And if you make every relation with x and y that is equal to before relation and equal to one of the element of S3. If you notice x y times x, this is equal to, notice xy, which is xy equal to 1 cycle 1 2 3. That means put this value 1 2 3 times x. What is x? 1 2. If you check this will be 2 3, the cycle 2 3. That means x y x equal to y x y, which is also be the member of S3. If you check x y whole square, that means this is equal to xy times xy, which is equal to x y x times y x. And from this relation, I will get x y x equal to y x y. That means this is equal to y x y times y. And from this line, it is equal to y x times y square. If you put the value y square, then the result will be yx, and yx equal to this. That means this is also be the member of S3. If you notice other relation yxy whole square, this is equal to yxy times yxy, which is equal to yx times y square times xy. And you know y square equal to identity, then the value will be yx times xy. From this relation, I will get y times x square y. And I have got the relation x square equal to identity. If you put this value, then you will get this is y square. And I have got y square equal to also identity. That means this value is equal to identity, which is also be the member of S3. That means other relation also be the member of S3. That means accordingly every another relation of xy which is equal before relation S3 equal to generated by xy such that x square equal to y cube equal to xy whole square, which is equal to identity. In many comparative exam, only this relation to indicate. If you notice this relation, then you will can understand it easily. This is nothing. This is actually the permutation group S3. Okay? Well, now I will represent a nice group. This is the dihedral group. Actually, Dn represent the group of all symmetric of regular polygon. You can create a group from any geometric shape by looking at symmetric of shape. What is symmetric? Symmetric means flip and rotate the shape, so the shape will be same as before and after transformation. Okay? Well, and the symmetry from a group is called group of symmetry, and the group of symmetry is called dihedral group. When the shape is regular, then it is polygon, and the word dihedral, it's related two faces, and here the polygon, so it has n faces. Okay? One symmetry is anti-clockwise rotation. What is the size of this rotation? Since this is the n polygon, so theta equal to 360 over n degree. Okay? Well, now consider D4 group. Suppose consider any square with 4 vertices 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is called identity. Since this is the original figure and this is the first element of this group. Okay? Now rotate the square by 90-degree angle with anti-clockwise direction. Then this is called R. If you rotate the square again by 90-degree angle with anti-clockwise direction, then this will be the third element, R square. Okay? If you rotate this square one more times, then it will be R cube, and this is the third element of D4. And if you rotate this square again, then you will get the first square. Okay? And this is the element of D4, E, R, R square and R cube. Okay? So, R to the power 4 will be identity. So, order of R is 4. In this type, you will get the rotational symmetry. Since you have chosen here square, so order of R here 4. If you choose triangle, then order of R will be 3. If you choose pentagon, then order of R will be 5. That means after 5 times rotation, it will be come back first position. Okay? Another symmetry of this polygon is reflection. Now, taking rotation along this diagonal, then I will get this. Here 1 goes here 1 2, here 1 2, here 3 4, here 4 3. Are you getting? Here rotation in this diagonal, then our result will be this, and this is denoted as S. Now, taking rotation along this diagonal on the element R, R square and R cube, then I will get SR, SR square and SR cube. That means D4 actually contains the element E, R, R square, R cube, S, SR, SR square and SR cube. Okay? If you rotate S along this diagonal again, then you will get this original figure. So A square equal to identity. That means order of S equal to 2. That means D4 contains the element E, R, R square, R cube, S, SR, SR square, SR cube. Where order of R is 4 and order of S is 2.
Now, let's see the elements of Dn in general. This is rotation. First element identity, then R square, R to the power n minus 2, R to the power n minus 1. And what will be the value of R square? 1. R square 1 will be 3. Then the elements is reflection. What is reflection? First element S. S is also identity. But here identity under reflection. There is some more element RS. RS means first reflection, then rotation. Other R square S, R to the power n minus 2s and R to the power n minus 1s. Okay? Well. Now my question, what is SR1? SR1 equal to, at first R1 equal to S2. 1 maps to 1, that means 2 maps to n, that means SR1 equal to n, which is equal to R to the power n minus 1 s. That means R to the power n minus 1 s equal to always SR. Are you getting? Well. Similarly, if you check SR square, then this will be equal to R to the power n minus 2s. Then this will be S R to the power n minus 1. Check it. And this is equal to SR to the power n. But this is actually S, because R to the power n equal to identity. So these are same. RS equal to SR to the power n minus 1. R square S equal to S R to the power n minus 2 up to R to the power n minus 2s equal to SR square. R to the power n minus 1 is equal to SR. Okay? Well. Now, the recent realization of DNR subgroup of GL2C. We all of us know what is GL2C. GL2C be the 2 cross 2 matrices with non-zero determinant and the entries are complex. Here omega equal to exp 2 pi I over n, where omega be the nth root of unity and r be the rotation, omega 0 0 1 over omega, then r to the power n equal to omega to the power n 0 1 over omega to the power n, which is equal to 1 0 0 1. That means r to the power n equal to identity, and S equal to 2 cross 2 matrices 0 1 1 0. This is reflection. Then S square will be 1 0 0 1. This is the identity. That means S square equal to identity. Okay? Here the nice characterization of Dn as a subgroup of 2 cross 2 complex matrices. And from today's, if you notice in any comparative exam such type of matrices, then you will understand this is nothing. This is actually indicate the Dn group. Okay? Well, now Dn is generated by two elements, rotation and reflection, such that r to the power n equal to S square equal to identity, and with condition r to the power is equal to S r to the power n minus 1. Okay? And if you notice the D4 group, D2 group, this is very interesting. D2 group is nothing. Just notice D2 is contain 1 R S R S with the condition R square equal to identity and S square equal to identity, and RS whole square equal to also identity, and this is nothing. This is actually the group K4. Okay, well, there is a nice fact. If you construct the Cayley table of S3, this is actually equal to the Cayley table of D3. That means S3 and D3 both are similar. They are isomorphic both. Okay, and this is nice. In many comparative exams, this fact will use S3 is similar to D3. That means S3 is isomorphic to D3. What is isomorphism? I will discuss in my next video. Okay? Well. And Dn is non-abelian for n greater than equal to 3. Because D2 is similar to K4, which is abelian. And D3 is similar to S3, which is non-abelian. That means if you take element from this and element from this, then they does not commute. At first, let's consider they are both commute. Then r times r to the power is equal to r to the power is times r. Now apply this condition. For simplify, r to the power I is equal to sr to the power n minus 1. Then here r to the power I plus 1 is equal to sr to the power n minus 1 times r. This is equal to r to the power I times I plus 1 times s, which is equal to sr to the power n minus I plus 1. Okay. Now apply again this relation. Then this will be sr to the power n minus I plus 1 equal to sr into the r to the power n minus I plus 1. For simplify, just omit s. After simplifying, I will get r to the power n minus I minus 1 equal to r to the power n minus I plus 1, which is equal to r square equal to identity. But I have chosen it for n greater than equal to 3 because Dn is non-abelian for n greater than equal to 3. So r square equal to identity cannot possible for n greater than equal to 3. So our assumption is wrong. That means Dn cannot be abelian for n greater than equal to 3. Okay? Well.